When we look back on the pay-per-view calendar for the year and we look at TLC in December, what are we going to remember from TLC? We're going to have people say it was one of the best pay-per-views of the year? Hardly at all, not even close. 4 matches are depicted on my overlay right now. What if I told you 2 of these matches were excellent? 2 of these matches were great. One of these matches was okay, and one of these matches was so bad that the crowd was chanting, "This is boring," during the match. I'll give you about 5 seconds to figure out which ones were which. If you said Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles and the TLC women's match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match were excellent matches, ding ding ding, you have a winner. If you thought Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins was the okay match and that Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey was the match with Karen started chanting "This is boring," I am sorry, but you are wrong. Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey's match, even though Nia Jax is still showing that she has no business being in the title picture at all, outperformed Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. When you have a personal rivalry match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental title, the biggest title still on TV for Monday Night Raw, and you start this thing out with a hammerlock, of all things. Not a Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, grabbing each other in the back of the head and start punching each other. No, we're going to start with a hammerlock. Are you kidding me? I don't know who produced that match, but that match was so boring, I'm surprised I'm awake right now. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, excellent match. The main event, which was the TLC match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, was excellent as well. And of course, Ronda Rousey, who is much better than she was the last time her and Nia Jax faced each other, carried Nia Jax to a decent match. Now, the pre-show I have a little gripe with. We had 2 matches on the pre-show because there was 12 matches on this show, and we went 4 hours. This did not end at 10. This ended at 11. We went actually 4 hours because there was 10 of these on the main card. 1 step forward, 2 steps forward, 4 or 5 steps backwards for the Cruiserweights. Cruiserweight Championship at Survivor Series was on the main card. We had 7 matches on that card, 3 for Raw and SmackDown, then we had the Cruiserweight match, and then we had 3 or more for the SmackDown vs. Raw theme, and that was that. We get to this past Tuesday, and not Cedric Alexander, but Mustafa Ali is wrestling Daniel Bryan in a rush match, but a match on SmackDown Live. Why do we have Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander again on the pre-show? Why is this the first match on the kickoff show? Even though the crowd was into this match the entire time, I'm just like, why is Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy, after what Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy did at Survivor Series, on the pre-show? It's like 2 steps forward and 4 or 5 steps back, and it's just more disrespect to the Cruiserweights. Buddy Murphy ends up picking up the win with the Murphy's Law in an excellent match after he kicks out of a lumbar check, which nobody saw that one coming, even though it's one of and this is the problem with wrestling nowadays in WWE and all over the world, really, is you see so many finisher kickouts as it is. You're going to see somebody hit like AJ Styles hit the Styles Clash, and someone and that person kicked out. It's hardly ever do you see a finisher protected, but Cedric Alexander's lumbar check has been, for the most part, protected. The only time that you usually see somebody kick out is they don't actually kick out, but they put their foot on the rope. Buddy Murphy actually kicked out of that one. Buddy Murphy's Law, I think, is one of the only few moves that is protected right now. I don't think anyone's kicked out of it yet. Well, if you've seen one Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander match, you've seen them all. These guys have wrestled 2 other times. I believe they have. I know they did a Super Showdown. I'm pretty sure Buddy Murphy was Cedric Alexander's first opponent after the Greatest Royal Rumble. It was supposed to be Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander at the Greatest Royal Rumble, but Buddy Murphy, who doing this whole he has to cut weight thing, didn't cut weight, so he had his match postponed. And I believe Cedric beat him the first time. Buddy, of course, won a Super Showdown, and Buddy wins here. No reason not to keep the title on him. Buddy Murphy, I thought, and I was hoping this would have been on the main show, especially with the mixed match challenge. finals happening on the main card. The show opened with the mixed match challenge, and we'll get to that later. Then we had, before the end of the pre-show, a Bobby Lashley and Elias match with a guitar on a pole minus the pole ladder match. Now, Monday Night Raw happened, and we were told the winner of this match, the person who climbed the ladder and grabbed the guitar, was allowed to use the guitar on his opponent. We get to TLC tonight, and the rules were changed. Whoever gets the guitar first wins the match. So what got lost in translation here? Seriously, what happened? This match was really nothing special. Bobby Lashley needs to walk up to Vince and be like, terminate me. I want to go back and work with TNA and Impact Wrestling because they can. I do wonders there, and here I'm a non-factor. I'm nothing here. I'm trash here. I don't do anything good here. I'm going to go back to where I thrive, and that is Impact Wrestling, even though, the checks won't be as big. Lashley ends up losing this one after a good, I think it went like 6 or 7 minutes. Leo Rush tried to stop Elias from grabbing the guitar. That didn't work out. Elias grabs the guitar, looks to smash Bobby Lashley's head with it, hit over Bobby Lashley's head. Leo Rush stops that, and then they beat down Elias, and that was that. And I was like, so you mean to tell me, and I'm thinking this, and I put it on Twitter, so you mean to tell me the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge, Tom Phillips said, I guess, or Vic Joseph has said, has started back in September. So about 3-4 month tournaments of Mixed Match Challenge that almost nobody who cares about WWE watched is on the main card over Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander. Are you kidding me? Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander should have opened the main card. Are you fucking real? Let's see. We had Ruby Riott versus Natalya in the tables match. Could have been on the pre-show. Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton could have been on the pre-show. It was a chairs match. Let's see here. Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins after what that match was could have been on the pre-show. No. Truth and Carmella win this one after a code of silence to Alicia Fox. Do you really care? Because I don't. This match went about 5 minutes. Not much really to talk about. Obviously, two reasons why Truth and Carmella won this match is for the simple fact is Vince McMahon loves the dance breaks. Vince McMahon, that's why we see them come out and go, hold on, dance break, and then they have a dance break, and then they go away. That's why they won this thing, even though I'm pretty sure Carmella's not happy with the vacation that they're going to, because apparently they're going to Stamford, Connecticut in WWE headquarters. Okay, whatever. But I have a feeling that the Women's Royal Rumble is not going to close the show this time. It's going to be the first Royal Rumble of the night. Truth is, when this number 30 hits on the Women's Royal Rumble, which, by the way, there's still not 30 women on the main roster, so outside of Ronda Rousey and Asuka as your women's championships, oops, I spoiled it. Anyway, other than the SmackDown and Raw Women's Champions, there's I think 20, not even 25, there might be 23. Are we going to see another slew of legends like we did last year, or are we going to see women from NXT? I mean, we had Kairi Sane last year, and I can't remember who else. I could have sworn we had another NXT woman, but we'll have to wait and see. But I have a feeling when we hit that number 30 hits, Truth is going to come out, and the rest are going to stop him with this is not your Rumble, you have to wait till later, and he'll be like, my bad, dance break, and that's how that goes before Carmella goes out there. The Bar versus the New Day versus the Usos, these 6 guys right here are these 3 best tag teams on SmackDown Live, and the 3 best tag teams really on the main roster. Hold on. This match was all over the place. The Bar and the New Day wrestled majority of the beginning of this match because they went with the 2 members, only 2 guys will be in the ring at the same time. And anybody can tag anybody in and go from there. So the Bar was like, you know what, we're going to try and keep the Usos out of this match as long as we can. The Usos eventually do get in this match, and they just super kick. They perform their own version of the super kick party by super kicking everybody in sight. this match gets out of hand, and then eventually it comes down to, because heck, this match is like so crazy you can't remember half the time, and you can't remember half the time who's the legal man, and people keep tagging in and out. But Cesaro gets kicked in the face by Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods looks like he's going to do a springboard DDT onto Sheamus, but Sheamus catches him with a bro kick for the 1, 2, 3, and the Bar retain their tag team titles. If this doesn't lead to the Bar versus the Usos at the Royal Rumble, I would be shocked because the Usos did not take the pinfall, so it would not surprise me if we see those two teams again, because Sanity hasn't done anything and the Good Brothers haven't done anything either. Then we had what was supposed to be our first TLC match of the night, Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. If Braun wins, he gets Lesnar at the Rumble for the Universal Championship. If Corbin wins, he is permanent general manager. If Corbin loses, he loses all power. Now, during the pre-show, we go to the back and we see Heath Slater in his referee outfit in the office of Baron Corbin, where JoJo is being instructed to say the winner by forfeit and permanent general manager is Baron Corbin, and he's telling her she needs to have a little bit of enthusiasm, act like you pretend like your job is on the line, and yeah. He's like, ring the bell, let's get this match underway. Heath Slater's counting to about 6 or 7, and Braun Strowman's music hits. Now, there was no way on earth Braun Strowman was actually going to be in a match because he comes out in a sling and his arm is heavily casted or whatever it is. He says, "There's no you did make one fatal mistake because this is a TLC match and it's a no disqualification match. If someone wanted to help me, someone who's been wronged by you, pissed off at you, and sick to death of you, they could come out and help me." Apollo Crews, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, and Finn Balor all come out here holding chairs. Now, I honestly don't, I understand Gable, Roode, Balor. I still don't understand where Apollo Crews fits into any of this. What has Baron Corbin actually do to wrong him? The only people missing from this was Elias because, storyline reason, he was beat down by Bobby Lashley earlier. And I know they got to try and keep their heel persona, but where was the revival? Where was the revival in this entire thing? They had been screwed over for the last 3 weeks in a row, facing off against the Lucha House Party in a Lucha House Rules match, in 3-on-2 and 3-on-1 handicap matches. They should have been a part of this. They all, he's telling Heath, get these guys out of here, get him out of here. He takes off his shirt, throws it at Corbin, and decks him. Everyone takes chairs to Corbin. He exits the ring and tries to leave when Kurt Angle's music hits. Kurt Angle comes out. He grabs a steel chair and batters Corbin back to the ring. Everybody and their mother hit their finishers. Heath Slater puts the referee shirt back on. Strowman comes in the ring. Put on Baron Corbin. 1, 2, 3. JoJo then announces the loser of this match is Baron Corbin, so he is no longer Raw General Manager. Therefore, your winner is Braun Strowman. So, the Shadow Machine was the only thing missing from this entire thing. Where was the revival? This was, I guess, a good way to do this. To, people say, oh, well, this is probably the plan they had all along. I don't believe that. If Braun Strowman didn't need the bone chips taken out, if he didn't have to have elbow surgery to get rid of, I think it was bone chips or bone spurs, whichever, they probably would have had something else in mind for the entire build-up to TLC. The fact that they, had Baron Corbin become this tyrannical monster who would sit there and favor to Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and just do all that he can. He did also, you could hear Baron Corbin wonder, what are you guys doing out here? I gave you guys the a tag team championship match again to Roode and Gable. So, it's a good means to an end, I guess. We still are having Vince McMahon out there tomorrow night, so that should be fun. Ruby Riott versus Natalya in a tables match. You knew Logan and Morgan were going to be out there. They did bring the table of Jim the Anvil the Neidhart table out. But I've got to say, Liv Morgan is going to wake up sore tomorrow morning because there was a table opened out. to where, like, in between the ring and the announce tables. Morgan pushes Ruby Riott out of the way and eats an elbow, a shoulder into her, sending her flying into the table. And my word, it would have made Jeff Hardy go, easy, woman. She definitely is going to feel that one tomorrow. So Logan goes to table as well, so it's down to one-on-one. Natalya eventually goes and grabs a table of her, like another table of her own. This one emblazoned with Ruby Riott. As well as she grabs, after she sets that up, she goes under the ring again and grabs one of the jackets of Jim the Angel Neidhart, not the only jacket he ever wore. And eventually, they're up on the top rope with the table in front of them. Ruby Riott, for whatever reason, tries to do a Hurricane Rana, which if she even landed this Hurricane Rana, probably would have injured herself. Natalya stops that and ends up powerbombing her through the table, so she wins. Now, this entire feud was about broken sunglasses of her dad. So, can someone explain to me why the very first thing that you do after you're done is you take another pair of these sunglasses that you were so heartbroken about, the fact that she broke a pair of your daddy's glasses, and you just put them on like everything's fine. I'm like, where's the logic in that? Why are you going to sit there and have Natalya, when they're in the UK, where Ruby Riott breaks her dad's glasses, sit there and break down in tears like these are the most cherished pair of sunglasses you've ever had, only to win the feud and then put an exact replica pair, an exact pair of those same sunglasses on as if everything's fine. What the hell? Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor was our next match, and what are they doing with Drew? What are they doing with Drew? 2 weeks ago, Drew McIntyre loses to Dolph Ziggler because of Finn Balor in a very piss poor way. I think they should have had him lose by countout, but no, they had him lose by pinfall. Last week, this past Monday, or the Monday before, he destroys Dolph Ziggler on his way to face off against Finn Balor this Sunday. And the fact that Finn Balor is back from being ill is good to see. But Finn Balor wins this match thanks to Dolph Ziggler. Why? You had Drew McIntyre for months. He comes up being the heavy for Dolph Ziggler, and you have this guy built and starts building up perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden, he's losing. And I don't know what they're doing with him. Why, oh why, would you have Finn Balor beat Drew McIntyre? This match, I swear, went on longer than it needed to. What happened to Drew McIntyre, the guy who dominated Kurt Angle, who Kurt Angle put over, and allowed him to beat him with his own ankle lock? What happened to that Drew McIntyre that you were building? Why is this Drew McIntyre sitting here bringing in a steel chair, eating a drop kick into the corner, and then a coup de grace for the 1, 2, 3? Why? Why are you having this match happen like this? Drew McIntyre should have came out, ball of fire, and destroyed Finn Balor. Yes, and because, well, first off, Finn Balor's not going to factor anything coming up in the next few months. He'll be in the Royal Rumble, he'll be eliminated in the Royal Rumble, and that's going to be that. Why would you have Finn Balor beat Drew McIntyre? Can somebody explain this one to me? Speaking of things not explained, why is Rey Mysterio beating Randy Orton in the chairs match? Why is Rey Mysterio victory rolling up Randy Orton for the 1, 2, 3 in a chairs match? Randy Orton, the guy who brutalized Jeff Hardy for weeks, leading up to a Hell in a Cell match. The guy who tortured Jeff Hardy and was going to beat the holy hell out of his next victim. And he even said the Tuesday after Hell in a Cell, what he did to Jeff Hardy will pale in comparison to what he does to his next victim. Apparently his next victim is Rey Mysterio, but this is what you got for him? Are you kidding me? You're going to have Rey Mysterio just eke out a fluke victory on this guy. Are you kidding me? So what are they doing with Randy Orton? What are they doing with So WWE went from knowing how to book a heel properly, one on each brand, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre, to just blowing both of those in one pay-per-view. It's time to take the pen away from Vince McMahon. Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax was a lot better than the last encounter. Of course, there was no Alexa Bliss run-in to keep Nia Jax from losing her championship. So they could prolong the Ronda Rousey championship hunt. Of course, Tamina was out there with Nia Jax, but she quite honestly did not factor too much into this match. It made no sense why they even had her out there. There wasn't a portion of the match where, Nia distracts the referee, and Tamina gets a cheap shot on. They didn't do that. I don't know why she was out there. She might have tried one thing and it didn't work out. Ronda with some stiff shots. I mean, it looked like she literally stiffed Nia Jax a couple times. There was like a jumping knee and then a step-up fist that landed into an elbow. She looked like she was trying to stiff Nia Jax, but Ronda Rousey got out of Samoan drop and ended up putting on she just showed off her athleticism in this match. She does eventually turn around and get the armbar onto Nia Jax. She points at Tamina and points at her and says, "You," and then kisses that face breaker hand, which is her right hand. It looked like she literally took Nia Jax's arm and twisted it to get it into a position. She did. Nia Jax taps out, and Ronda Rousey is still your Women's Champion. This would not be the last you see of Ronda Rousey tonight. I will just tell you that. We go to the back, and Charlie Caruso is trying to get a word in with Nia Jax. Nia Jax is not having any of that. When Becky Lynch, of all people, Becky Lynch is looking and comes up to her and says, "Remember when you broke my face?" Kick to the gut, and then she just whaps Nia Jax in the face, sending her into a thing of bleachers that were right there. Where Tamina was at that time, I don't know, because she came running and was like, "What the hell just happened?" The reason this all happened with Becky Lynch is because on the pre-show, she did have a couple good words that, if I could find, I would actually want to play. She talked about how, and here's something new for you, tonight's main event was the first time in this entire brand split, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe this entire brand split, that a SmackDown Championship main evented a dual-branded pay-per-view. Just think about that for a second. The first ever time since 2016, since they did this entire thing, this is the first time that they've actually main evented a dual-branded pay-per-view. That's sad. Because it's been either the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, the Intercontinental title, Roman Reigns, the Intercontinental title, Roman Reigns, Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, Universal Championship. And I mean in a defense, not like at Survivor Series with Daniel Bryan face off against Brock Lesnar. This is the first title defense in the main event. But she said that, well, Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax are talking so much smack about me, and I'm the whole reason that match is they're trying to live up to my potential. They're trying to live up to my expectations. I have elevated the women's evolution in WWE so much that it has influenced the Raw Women's Championship match. As a matter of fact, because both brands are under one roof, I think I might take a walk around the arena and pay and get a couple of receipts, because there's some pain need to be distributed out, and that's what happened for Nia Jax. Nia Jax made it look like insult to injury. She got her ass beat by Becky Lynch with a kick and a punch. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, WWE Championship match. This was an excellent match. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles would not quit on who would, like, either one would quit. Neither one of them would. Now, I said in my preview and predictions, I expected this to be like a normal AJ Styles pay-per-view match because majority of AJ Styles pay-per-views matches for the title have been in screwy finishes. Look at Shinsuke Nakamura. Look at Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles in their first few matches, and that's what you get. But no, this did not have a screwy finish, and I am absolutely shocked. But this one was good. AJ Styles ends up losing to Daniel Bryan in. This was good. AJ Styles worked on the knee of Daniel Bryan, and they did try a moment where he had Daniel Bryan crouched in between the ring post. And he sat there and he has both legs. I'm like, what is he trying to do? And I'm trying to think. I looked on, I was on Twitter and I saw that Cultaholic made a little a idea of what they were doing, and they wanted to do the Bret Hart figure 4 around the ring post, but the problem is Daniel Bryan's size and the ring post being so big was not going to make it possible. So he decided to do what Daniel Bryan did to him 2 weeks ago, and take his leg and just bash it against the ring post. While Daniel Bryan's knee was compromised, AJ Styles' ribs were compromised as Daniel Bryan worked on those. The Yes Lock has now been renamed the LeBell Lock, as it was named before they started to call it the Yes or No Lock. Daniel Bryan is another reason this match is so good is that Daniel Bryan can sell like almost no one else besides AJ Styles and Seth Rollins and a few others. AJ Styles had Daniel Bryan in a half Boston Crab on the bad knee that he had beaten up, and Daniel Bryan sold this so well that the San Jose crowd literally thought that this could have actually ended the match. A half Boston Crab would look to a lot of people like it was going to end this match, just because that's how good Daniel Bryan is at what he does. This match made you appreciate how good Daniel Bryan is, even though he's a dastardly heel. Apparently, Daniel Bryan is also going to take the leather from the leather on the WWE Championship and replace it with a vegan-friendly version. I don't know what the hell that means, but okay. Just being more dastardly. There was the calf crusher, I believe. Yeah, the calf crusher was put on. Then, Daniel Bryan didn't have after that, and AJ Styles wrenched on that so much that it literally looked like he was going to rip the knee of Daniel Bryan off. Daniel Bryan ends up winning this one in the end in clean fashion. I honestly, like I said, I thought this was going to be one of those, and it was a roll up what was it? Not the schoolboy. AJ Styles had him rolled up, but Daniel Bryan reversed it and got the 1, 2, 3. So clean victory for Daniel Bryan. My biggest question is, and why my logic was why I figured this was going to go to a screwy finish, is who is Daniel Bryan going to defend the title against at the Royal Rumble? You have 3 options, really. You have Daniel Bryan, you have AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Jeff Hardy. Who are they going to have him defend it against? I don't think they're going to do The Miz, because The Miz is nowhere near a World Championship contender anymore, not since the whole Best in the World stuff, and he wants to act like, we need to be a tag team, Shane, we need to be a tag team. No, you should be wanting to go for the WWE Championship, not begging for Shane McMahon to be a tag team partner. But if you really want to see 3 matches from this show, the WWE Championship, the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, and the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Everything else in the show can be missable if you wanted to. Everything else on this show is just, and I'm talking about the main card. The Cedric Alexander Buddy Murphy match for the pre-show, you can check that out. But the 2 SmackDown matches on here and the SmackDown Tag Team title match is what you want to see for this show. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose Intercontinental Championship match. I already talked about this at the beginning of the show. This match was boring as hell. I don't know what happened to Dean Ambrose, why he went from his heel turn was the best heel turn of 2018. Was the best turn since Seth Rollins turned heel in 2014. But what happened? I honestly want to know what happened to this dude. you had the guy turn heel on the most emotional night of the year and on the most emotional night probably since Daniel Bryan retired in 2016. That was perfect. It got everyone angry. It got everyone pissed off who are those people who don't understand the logic of why they did it. But it was great. His heel turn was going, it was slowly starting to go up high, and then he opened his mouth and he started talking about stupid shit and he started getting himself inoculated, and it's just done. His heel turn is trash. His heel turn has been ruined. His heel turn has been a piece of shit. And this match was awful. But can I please say one thing? Seth Rollins, will you stop trying to do a sunset flip powerbomb out of the fucking corner? That's the injury that kept you on the shelf and made you miss WrestleMania 32. It was the injury that cost you to lose the WWE Championship a week or so before you were supposed to lose it to Roman Reigns, because yes, we know Roman Reigns is going to win the championship from Seth Rollins at that Survivor Series. But you gotta stop doing that, because every time you do that, we already know you're going to be clutching your knee, and that's going to become a compromise for every single match that you're in. Like, Finn Balor hurt his shoulder in 2016 for the Universal Championship the night he won. You don't see him using that as a crutch for every match that he's in, but almost every match Seth Rollins is in, that is something they bring up, is the fact that they have him have that crutch where, oh, he's injured now. It's just annoying, and it needs to stop. This match was just boring as hell, and Dean Ambrose won because Seth Rollins started saying, you didn't have to be this way. We could have did this a different way. You wanted this, and he goes to bounce off the ropes. He gets caught in the Dirty D's. 1, 2, 3, and a new Intercontinental Champion in Dean Ambrose. Moving on. Then we had Asuka versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch in the first ever triple threat women's TLC match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. This was a fun match. This was not the best match of the year. I don't want to hear it from anybody. This was a good match. Becky Lynch is no longer the SmackDown Live Women's Champion for a multitude of reasons, and people are probably going to be wondering, why did Becky lose her championship? It's real simple. Becky Lynch's time as Women's Champion for SmackDown, she did what she had to do for that title. She did what she had to do for the story. As this match ended, but there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened in this match. But one thing is, could neither one of these women handle a ladder? Because, like, seriously, every time they tried to pick up a ladder, it was like a struggle. Were these ladders that freaking heavy? Did they go with the steel ladders or did they go with the heavy wood ladders? I don't know. But these women, every time a ladder got knocked over, they had to try and pick it up. It just, like, they looked like they were struggling. I don't know why. It just looked weird. You had Becky Lynch doing a dive off of a sit-out dive off of a ladder onto the announce table, onto Charlotte. And I honestly surprised Charlotte was able to move after that. Charlotte tried to spear Asuka through the barricade leading to the timekeeper's area, but the barricade didn't break. You had Charlotte do a senton, not a swanton, a senton off the top rope, do a table in with Becky Lynch on it. The match comes down to this as follows. There were two ladders. I don't know why at the time they did this, but you had Charlotte and Asuka fighting on one ladder. Becky puts another ladder up. Charlotte knocks Asuka off. Okay. Becky's on the second ladder. Charlotte goes over there and they start fighting. All of a sudden, and this is the one thing I hate about the crowd, is that the crowd reaction tells you that something's going to happen. They're fighting up on this other ladder, but like Charlotte's trying to reach for the title. All you hear at the crowd is just going nuts. Ronda Rousey is walking down the aisle with the, not a smile, but the I'm gonna kill you face. And Ronda Rousey gets in the ring, walks under the ladder, not around it, but under the first ladder, looks up both of these two who have like been talking shit on her, pushes the ladder over. Both women fall down. Both women roll out of the ring. She leaves. Asuka ascends the ladder. Asuka grabs the championship. Asuka is your SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Now, why why did this happen like this? Well, and honestly, I wasn't surprised. I'm surprised Nia Jax, after getting made to look like a punk by the man, didn't come out and help do something to Becky Lynch. Maybe try and break her face again or whatever. But the reason this happened like this is because I said this in my review and my predictions. I'm pretty sure. You're not going to have Charlotte or Becky Lynch sit outside, because if they do what they did last year for the Women's Championship, or the Women's Royal Rumble, you had Alexa Bliss and Charlotte sit outside the ring and watch to see who's going to win. If they do that again this time around and have it on thing, you're not going to have Ronda Rousey sitting one chair and Becky Lynch or Charlotte sit in the other chair and just be like, oh yeah, this is fine, I'm just going to sit here and pretend like nothing's going on, like I don't want to smash Ronda Rousey's face in. So taking the title off of Becky Lynch and putting it on Asuka made the most sense. Asuka doesn't have a beef with Ronda Rousey yet, but Ronda Rousey and Charlotte and Ronda Rousey and Becky have beefs. Those two are going to be in the Rumble now. Those two, it should come down to the final four should be Nia Jax, I guess, if you want to do that, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Now, who ends up, and whoever else they want to do. Maybe they want to do Tamina. Who knows? Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair should come down to the final two, and if they want to do it this way, you have Becky and Charlotte go over the top rope at the same time, hit the floor, no winner, and it's decided that at WrestleMania, Charlotte, Becky, Ronda Rousey. That's why I think they're going with this, because WWE wants Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, but they have a conundrum, because if they do Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey without Becky Lynch involved at all, the crowd is going to shit all over it. Now, what's going to happen with Asuka? What's going to happen with Asuka? I have a feeling Naomi is going to be in the next, like Naomi, Sonya Deville, or Mandy Rose are going to be the next in line. They're going to be the ones to go up against Asuka for the Women's Championship going on to, if they have a Women's Championship match at Royal Rumble, Fastlane, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Fastlane. And quite honestly, if they're going to have these two pay-per-views, you need to have one be Raw, one be SmackDown, and flip it every year, and those are the only non-dual branded pay-per-views. But Asuka will defend against one of those two. And I don't know who she's going to go up against at WrestleMania. Quite honestly, I want to see Becky versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, and you can have Charlotte Asuka 2 with Asuka actually beating Charlotte and retaining her SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Then, and this is what's going to be interesting, and this is why this needs to happen. Charlotte loses to Asuka at WrestleMania, and that brings that full circle. Becky beats Ronda Rousey and becomes SmackDown Raw Women's Champion. She goes to Monday Night Raw. Superstar Shakeup comes up when we come to the next, like 2 weeks after WrestleMania. Fox wants Ronda Rousey on SmackDown. So what you're going to do, because Becky, Charlotte, and Becky, Bayley, and Sasha Banks are already on Raw, you're going to switch Charlotte and Ronda. Charlotte's going to Raw, Ronda's going to SmackDown. Shayna comes up, she's on SmackDown. Eventually, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir come to SmackDown, and then the SmackDown versus Raw show, the SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series matches will feature the main event of the 4 Horsewomen of MMA on SmackDown versus the 4 Horsewomen of Raw of WWE on Raw, and you still have that SmackDown versus Raw build going with both women's champions on either Becky, Charlotte, or Bayley or Asuka Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, or Sasha have to be Raw Women's Champion, and one of the 4 Horsewomen of MMA, most likely Ronda Rousey, who will beat Asuka, or whoever, probably Asuka, later down the line. I know it's not the best way, but it's just how it's going to go. But that's where you're going to get your SmackDown versus Raw from. You got to do SmackDown versus Raw next year, and you have the 4 Horsewomen of MMA on SmackDown and the 4 Horsewomen of WWE on Raw. Just makes sense right there. And that's where they go from there. But that is your TLC in a nutshell. It was a boring show for the most part. Like I said, 2/3 of the best parts of the show, of the main show, are on the SmackDown side over here. But Monday Night Raw just, again, shows you just how bad of a show they are. The only part of Monday Night Raw that was even enjoyable was the fact that Baron Corbin got his ass kicked by a bunch of guys, got hit with a coup de grace, got hit with an angle slam, got hit with the whatever the hell that neck breaker moonsault thing that Chad Gable and Bobby Roode do. Nothing else was good on this show, on the main card. And of course, the Cruiserweight Championship deserves better than that. I'm sorry. It should be on the main card. If it's going to be at one of the big four, or any of the pay-per-views, it needs to be on the main card. No more pre-show. Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy proved that last month. Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy proved that this month. If they're at the Royal Rumble, put them on the main card. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that's going to be all. Monday Night Raw tomorrow, we will see Vince McMahon, and anybody who says it's not because of ratings, it's because of X, Y, and Z, don't let them fool you. If it was, he's going to name a new general manager, that's what Stephanie McMahon's for. Stephanie McMahon is the commissioner of Monday Night Raw. Why is she not on Raw tomorrow? Oh, because Stephanie drops ratings. To anybody who watches Raw tomorrow night, who's going to Raw tomorrow night, if you don't boo the hell or say this show sucks or fuck you McMahon or something derogatory to get him to drop the mic and walk away, you're a hypocrite. If you bow to him, if you sing his theme song, if you say thank you, welcome back, or some stupid thing that makes it seem like you want him there, you are a hypocrite and you need to just turn around and leave. Now, Vince McMahon is the first thing we see on Monday Night Raw, and he does whatever he does in the first half an hour, or the first 15 to 30 minute, quarter hour, the first hour, half an hour of the show. Yeah, those ratings are going to go up. But as soon as he walks off that stage and don't see him the rest of the night, guess what? The ratings will go and drip away, and everything they try to do for Vince McMahon to be there is not going to mean anything. But I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, where we will find exactly why Vince McMahon is there, even though we all know it's a panic move for WWE. But, again, 3 matches to see. The New Day versus the Bar versus the Usos, the WWE Championship, and the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match. Other than that, you can miss everything else on this show. Find me on Twitter at TheFranz. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFranz08. I hope to be getting back into streaming very, very soon. I've had a couple roadblocks for me, but hopefully get things back there. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a good one.